Morning, everyone. Welcome to today's StoreFeeder Virtual Session, which is a joint one we're doing with Temu. So I'm Jack. I've been at StoreFeeder for 13 years, started working in support onboarding. Now I'm in the marketing side of the business. In the next half an hour, we'll go through how Temu works with StoreFeeder. We've also got a guest speaker in Alan Small from Temu, who will be going through some of the features of the platform with you. And then I will look at sort of how StoreFeeder integrates and how StoreFeeder works with Temu and how you can use it to manage Temu and orders from Temu through the system. So if you're already selling on Temu or if you're just weighing it up to a new channel, this is a good webinar to see, and the aim will hopefully be to show you how it will work, how you can connect your account, and how you can get started. So I'm going to send it over to Alan, and he's going to go through some of the Temu, it's the Temu side of it for you. Right.
Thanks for that, Jack. I'm just going to share my screen now. Second. Let me know. Is that showing now?
Yeah, I can see it.
Perfect. Okay, great. Okay, cool. There we go. Perfect. Cool. So yeah, thanks, Jack. As Jack said, my name's Alan Small. I am one of the leads here at Temu. I've been at Temu now for over a year and a half. I head up 10 different categories, including pet, appliances, media, toys, etc. Before I joined Temu, I was at OnBuy, where I was Director of Sales Operations. Before that, I was at Wish, where I was Director of Europe. And before that, I had my own marketplace and I had my own eBay and Amazon store. So you kind of know what it's like to be on your side, but also on the side of the marketplace as well. So a lot of stuff I'll say today, I like to talk about as if I was still a seller as well. So today's main aim is just basically give you a very snapshot of what we've got through Temu, who Temu are, what makes us unique, some stats, the support that we can give you as a StoreFeeder user, and what support that is. And I've actually brought along one of my sellers, George from Aquacadabra, who's going to talk about his experience as well on Temu as well, since they joined it earlier this year. But feel free anytime to ask any questions in the chat. We'll get to those at the end as well. But just a very brief about Temu. So Temu, okay, probably a lot of you know Temu. You've probably been hit with some of our ads at some point. We're still a relatively new company though. We've only launched just under 4 years ago in the US, and even only less than about 3 years ago in the UK. So it shows how new we are, but we do have a parent company behind us, which is one of the biggest marketplaces in China. So we've got that very experience behind us. We quickly grew very rapidly across the US, across Europe, across other countries. We're about 90 different countries now. In the UK, we only started to allow UK sellers to join less than 2 years ago. So what that means is that real opportunity to be one of the first sellers of your category on Temu. And I'll talk a bit more about that in a second. Again, a lot of things make Temu unique compared to any other marketplace. And again, if I put my seller hat on, these are the 3 ones I really think stand out. Number 1 is engagement. We are a discovery-based platform over a sort of traditional search-based platform. And what I mean by that is a traditional search-based platform. You would go search for like, let's say, headphones, buy those headphones, and then you leave. Whereas on Temu, you join the app and you are inspired. You can search for those headphones and leave, but what it does is the feed updates in real time and understands more about your buying behavior. So if every one of us opened up the app right now, no 2 people have the same feed, and it'll update in real time. So if I click on headphones, it will update, say, okay, Alan's interested in headphones, and it'll keep updating the feed. If I click on wireless headphones, I want wireless, and it'll keep doing that. So it's a very personalized experience. And that even includes all the way down to the offers we have, those coupons that pop up. They're real coupons. They come out of our pocket. And they're based upon the buying behavior of the consumer as well. So we're able to make it more enjoyable, more personable, and more gamified for them as well. Second part, biggest myth on Temu is that it's just for cheap, unbranded products. That's not the case. I would class our consumers as value conscious. The types of consumer that's been left behind by other traditional marketplaces where you have to pay monthly subscriptions to use, etc. Temu, our customers know they're coming to Temu to get the best possible price. We have every type of brand of products from, we've got like Apple iPhones, we've got laptops, £2,000 furniture sets. So all of those sort of similar products you get on other platforms, including all the big brands that you're used to, just so you know that you're getting the best price possible. Third one is mobile first. So a lot of other marketplaces, when they first launched, were more web-based, and then they slowly went to the app. And then when they update, they still update web first, then mobile second. Temu, everything is done mobile first. Over 90% of all of our traffic comes from mobile. So we've made it very seamless and easy for a customer to browse the product, add products to their cart, to upsell them as well. In terms of stats, everyone loves a page on stats. So to back up a bit more of what I've been talking about. So Temu worldwide, we have 735 million downloads. We're now active in 90 markets, including all the major markets, Western markets you can imagine. 750 million monthly active users. We drilled down just to the UK, which is probably what most of you are more interested in. 13 million monthly active users. In the UK, we've also had about 20 million downloads. So if you combine the two of those, that's about a third of the UK population using Temu every single month. In terms of GMV, 2024, we did over 71 billion in GMV, and our average order value, H1 of 2024, is $40. So probably higher than what you expected, and that's increasing. And that's blended across our Chinese and our UK sellers, and our non-UK Chinese sellers. So if you just focus more on non-Chinese sellers, that average order value is even higher. The reason why I wanted to put that bit about the GMV there is we are committed. We want 50% of our revenue to come from local sellers like yourselves. That's how important local sellers are to us. We've committed to that. If you go on BBC, we've even said it to the Houses of Parliament as well. So that shows how important the local initiative is for us. In terms of traffic source, so understand a bit more about our traffic. So again, you might be thinking, well, Temu's so great because it just loads of ads. Actually, 80% of our traffic in the UK is organic or direct. So those consumers are coming directly to us. So we're not having to pay for ads. So you don't need to worry about competing with us on Google Shopping or other ads. Only 20% of our traffic, or just over, is actually paid traffic. The reason why is because 70% of our shoppers are repeat buyers. So we're not only able to attract a customer, we're able to get them to keep coming back and keep buying on Temu over and over again. And then the final part, 18 minutes. So that bit about the discoverability, keeping them on the app longer, it's proven for the fact that on average, a customer spends 18 minutes a day browsing on Temu. If you compare that to Amazon or eBay or maybe another traditional marketplace, there's about 10, maybe 11 minutes. So we're nearly double that amount of time. And then the final point here, it's a bit more of a case study. So a lot of sellers think, okay, great, I'm going to get sales on Temu, but it's going to impact my sales on other marketplaces. That's not the case. So one of our biggest tech sellers is also one of the biggest tech sellers on Amazon. They did an analysis of this, and 95% of all of their orders were net new, as in they never delivered to that customer before on Amazon or on their own website. And their sales on their traditional channels were unimpacted. So it's showing that Temu truly is an incremental sales channel that doesn't cannibalize your existing ones. Just a brief, but again, the perception of Temu, the reason why we're doing so strong is because, again, I know that you might not think this, but the perception of Temu is very strong in the UK. I won't go through all of these stats. I'll just pull out one, which I always think is really important, is 74% of UK users said that they were extremely likely to recommend Temu to others. You wouldn't want to recommend an app or use an app if you didn't believe and didn't really have a great experience on that app. Now to the local seller initiative. So this is why local sellers are so important and what we can do for you as a StoreFeeder customer. First of all, why local is so important. So I like to use the example of Joe the builder. So Joe the builder, he's outfitted his entire workspace with Temu, from safety shoes to laser levels. But when it comes to premium power tools, he still shops elsewhere as he looks for top brands with that reliability and compatibility. So if you want a DeWalt drill, etc., you might go to another marketplace. That's a gap that we're missing. We've got that customer buying similar complementary products, but then they're leaving to go buy other products. So we need to have the local sellers to be able to populate that for us as well. In terms of how it works in Temu, so very simple. To become a seller in the UK, you just need to be UK registered. Your stock needs to be in the UK, and if you sell a trademarked product, you need to have the rights to sell those trademarked products. Very simple. Our commission ranges between 7 and 11%, depending on the category that you sell in. It's more of an eBay model, so you're not trying to compete for a buy box like you do on maybe like Amazon. And also there's no joining fees, there's no listing fees, there's no sellers fees whatsoever. And also, you don't need to spend on ads like you do on other traditional marketplaces to sell. Most of my sellers don't even use ads. It's a very competitive marketplace in that sense. The algorithm's a lot more fairer. Okay. Other benefit you get from joining Temu in the UK that you might not necessarily get, and I wish I had when I was selling in other marketplaces, is that Temu account manager. Any seller who joins via StoreFeeder, they get their own dedicated UK account manager. For example, George is going to speak in a minute. I'm his dedicated UK account manager. So what we can do is we help from everything from the onboarding, so KYC, the brand registrations. We can even upload your products for you. We can help with your optimization of your store and your listings. We can help with your growth, so we can submit your products into marketing for you on a weekly basis. We can tell you about events and opportunities that are coming up. And what's most important, after sales support. So if you have an issue with an order, customers claiming it's not been delivered or they've returned an item that isn't the right item, you have us to step in to help to ensure you're not out of pocket as well. And then the final part is we're still a startup. So any ideas and process improvements, you can come to us and we will help unlock those. There's some categories that George is going to speak in a minute weren't even available on Temu. George has helped to unlock those for us. We've unlocked them for him as well. And also the taxonomy, it wasn't reflective of aquatics taxonomy. So those suggestions that came from them to make it a better user experience, we've applied those or in the middle of applying those as well. But it's always better to hear from a seller directly themselves who's StoreFeeder seller, but also selling on Temu. So with that, George is on the call, on the webinar. And George, if it's okay, if you do a quick introduction of yourself, who Aquacadabra are, and then, just maybe talk a bit about why you joined Temu and what your experience has been like on Temu so far.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, thanks, Adam. So I'm George at Aquacadabra. Obviously run Aquacadabra with my dad himself. We're one of the biggest aquatic sellers in the UK, selling on about 7 different marketplaces. So I think Temu's a great channel to start off with. Obviously, Alan probably reached out to me about probably about 9 months ago, wasn't it, Alan, that you first reached out to me, and I was very reluctant on whether to join Temu. Obviously, in the summer itself, obviously we get a lot of sales, and in the summer is our peak time. And you know what, we took the decision. You know what, we're gonna go live on Temu, and you know what, I don't look back now. Don't look back at all.
Amazing. Thanks, George. We can echo that. I mean, since you joined at the start of the year, your sales have just been increasing and doubling every single month. And we haven't even got all your lines on your products, even your best-selling lines at the moment.
So we've got about we've roughly got about 3,000 or 4,000 products live at the moment, and we roughly hold listings of about 7,000-8,000. So we're probably about 50% there. And I tell you what, every single month we've been growing about 30 to 40% in revenue.
Amazing. And what would you make? What do you think is okay if someone was to join Temu and they wanted to know, well, what makes a successful seller on Temu? Like, what have you found has been success? What's worked for you to be able to grow so quickly on Temu, and what's helped?
Yeah, you know what, with any sort of business, being a business owner and an entrepreneur it's a fact of patience, you know, and the more evidence I've seen over Temu in the last 6 months is I always say it to myself now, and I didn't believe it at the start, and I always say that Temu is gonna overtake Amazon in the next 5 years. And I always stick that to my word. Why? Because the marketing they've got into place, the algorithm they've got into place, and many more things that they've got into place. There's products on Temu that I've tried listing on Temu on Amazon for the last 5 years, and it's never sold at any sort of price. But on Temu, I do one sort of click, one sort of price, no marketing, no massive push or anything, and I wake up the next morning and we've got 5 sales, the next day 10 sales, and it's just doubling. And if you just stick patiently and work with Temu, you will have the end result.
Amazing. And my final question I'm going to ask is again, not to feed you or blow up my own trumpet because I'm your account manager. But what about the account management support as well? How has that helped you on this? That
Yeah.
a
So
seller gets as well.
yeah. So obviously we sell on 7 different marketplaces, you see, and I tell you what, obviously having a market manager on Amazon, obviously it's very costly. Having an account manager on eBay, there's not that one-to-one support like obviously myself and Alan. If there was an issue on Amazon, okay, for example, there was a listing restriction or a product got taken down, I wouldn't be able to pick up the phone and say, oh, I need to get that product back on. But with Temu, that product, for example, you see in the first image there, marina gravel. Okay. About 2 months ago, that product the price reduced, or it was into low traffic hold. And I rang up Alan straight away and I said, this is not right. I phoned Alan. Within the next 24 hours, it was back live and back selling again. And that's what you need, is that one-to-one support.
Amazing. Thanks, George, for that. And I think they were the only questions I was going to have. Is there anything else you want to summarize with it, or
no? Obviously, I think obviously Temu is a great platform. I think obviously being the biggest aquatic seller in the UK, like I say, we've had many years of experience in platforms, and I think Temu is definitely going to be up there. Definitely going to be up there with the likes of eBay and Amazon. But like anything, it's like your website or anything in business, you just got to be patient and you got to work with the team. And I say, if you do join Temu, really work with the team. They're a great team to work with. They're lovely, and they'll answer any questions that you need.
Amazing. Thank you so much for that, George. Appreciate that.
Thank you, Alan.
Thanks. And then my last slide, then kind of like linking on to what George just said, that what makes a success on a seller. So that first part is adding that full catalog. Like you said, George is working through that process now, getting the rest of those products. Some of them haven't been able to go live because of that category is not unlocked yet on Temu, or they need SSP pricing that we're working on with them as well. But add your full catalog. The more you add, our algorithm becomes smarter, and it starts to hone in on your products and start to drive more traffic to it. Second one is image content. Every marketplace says this. I get it, but on Temu, the most important thing is the title. The title is what the algorithm looks at. Title and images, that's the most important thing. You've got 500 characters on that title. Maximize that as much as possible. The main body of the text, like the product description page, we don't use necessarily for the search algorithm part, but that's very important for the conversion. So once the seller clicks on your product, but in terms of to get that discoverability, it's all about the images and all about the title. Videos helps as well, because we sometimes move your video to the first part when you're scrolling through, and it helps it stand out on a static sort of feed of just images. Next one is price competitively. So we always want to make sure we're delivering the best possible price. The better the price is, the more traffic you get. If you feel your price isn't as competitive as other products, your traffic could be suppressed. So really price competitively on Temu. Like I said, you're not paying for ads on Temu. You don't need to worry about that additional aid costs, any other additional fees. So you really can hone in on just being more competitive in your pricing. Then the next part is brand. Really register your brand. Get your brand trademarked. Upload your brand. We've got very strong brand protection, but also once your brand is uploaded, we have different levels of once we know that brand is registered, we can actually drive more traffic to it. And there's more benefits you get once your brand is registered on Temu. Next one is fast shipping time. Again, it's not necessarily you need to do like next day delivery on Temu. You've got 2 business days to dispatch the order. But from beyond that, if you set your shipping template, so you can select between 1 to 2 days, 1 to 3 days, 3 to 5 days. So really making sure you're picking the right shipping time, because it makes you stand out against, if you imagine, all the overseas Chinese sellers, because you can deliver much faster. And the final part is utilizing deals. So really make sure we've got the ability to take part in weekly flash deals, clearance deals, mega deals, all of these additional areas that gets you exposure that me as an account manager can't get you necessarily. You can only get yourself. So it's more about seller-funded promotions on that side. That's high level, very high level on Temu. I'll stop sharing my screen now just to hand back to Jack.
That's brilliant. Thank you, Alan. Thank you, George. That was awesome to see, actually. And it's cool to hear from George as well, sort of how he's been using, or how they've been using Temu. It's good to hear. So onto my part. So I'll be sort of now going through sort of how StoreFeeder works more with how you integrate it with Temu. One thing I forgot to mention at the start as well, if you've got any questions, pop them in the chat, and then myself or Alan can answer them for you at the end. So last I spoke to some of the guys and we found out how many orders customers are doing through StoreFeeder for Temu, and last week they did 31,000. So it's growing fast. It's one of the newer channels that we've integrated with, but it's very, very quickly becoming one of the more popular ones. Most people now, when they'll sign up or are inquiring about StoreFeeder, will be asking about whether we've got a Temu integration and how it works. So it is becoming incredibly popular with our sellers. You manage it like any other channel in StoreFeeder. So I'm assuming you'll all have seen how StoreFeeder works. And it just appears with all your other channels. You link it in the same way. There's nothing different about it. You don't have to manage it in a particular fashion. It's all just there for you. You'll have all of your orders in one place. So this is an example of this is showing you the order screen, but obviously you'd be able to pick and process them in the same way as you would any other order. You can report on them how you need to. I mean, I don't know if anyone was at sessions, but we're talking about the AI dashboards and all that. You'll be able to create dashboards specifically for Temu if you want to, so you can sort of drill down into what you're selling on those channels, on that channel, and how get the data from that, so that will be in the system for you. Here's an example of a Temu order. So obviously you've got the full picture in one view of it: customer details, shipping, billing address, items, how you're shipping it, and you can manage the order directly within the system. It's basically everything you need to manage the order here. You can control listings from Temu as well. So with the listing control turned on, StoreFeeder becomes it'll become the master for the stock. So it'll push it out from the inventory that we've got logged in your warehouse, and that'll appear on Temu and keep it up to date so you can't oversell, undersell, etc. You can add out of stock thresholds, oversell buffers, just to make sure that you've always got the stock that you've always got the listings live if you need to have them. They're always available for customers to buy. So features of the integration: listing download. Obviously, you can create the listing on Temu. It comes automatically imports into StoreFeeder. You don't have to do anything to bring those in. Automatic inventory updates. Stocks kept up to date across all of your sales channels, or across the sales channels, sorry. So everything's synced. Order import, obviously, orders will come in really quickly into StoreFeeder, stocks allocated, and you can get them processed and get them sent out. So whatever shipping service you're using, you can make sure that it's, the order's not in breach of any delays. You can get them out in a timely fashion. Obviously, dispatch notifications. So that will send tracking information back to Temu. That'll mark the order as shipped. The customer will know that it's on the way. They'll have all the information that they need to track the order, or just to know that it's been dispatched. We also merge orders. So I know it can be quite common on Temu for people to buy multiple things from you in different orders in one go. So if those orders come in, they'll all be merged for you, and you only process one order. You process it as one order and pay for shipping once, essentially, and send it out all in one go. And it has cancellation sync. So if someone does decide to cancel an order, it's automatically cancelled in StoreFeeder as well. So it just sort of removes a lot of the manual steps from having to sort anything out with that. So let's look at now how you actually get it integrated. So once you've got a Temu account, you just authorize it, authorize StoreFeeder inside that. So you go into Temu Seller Central, go to apps and services, open the App Store, you'll find StoreFeeder. It's free, so you just click authorize and it tells Temu that it's allowed to talk to StoreFeeder on your behalf. Once you've got that authorized, you'll see it's listed as active, and you'll be able to get an access link. You want to take that link and it will give you an access token, and then that is the most important part in order for linking it. So you'd paste that into StoreFeeder. We want to then create the integration in StoreFeeder itself. So you'd add this as you would any other integration, set it up, give it a name, and then add it to the system. here you paste that access token, you test the connection, and then that's it. The integration's done, it's active. You can start bringing in listings, bringing in orders, and getting that all sorted. So yeah, this will look familiar to anyone that's used StoreFeeder before. It's the all your channel settings and the way you manage it. But here you can turn off individual parts. So you might not want to, for some reason, sync inventory. You can turn it off if you wanted to. It's the options there. You can import orders, merge orders. It's all the settings are available for you in the same way they are as any other channel. Everything sort of behaves as you'd expect it to. So start selling on Temu. It's available to all. So you don't need, it's not an extra, it's not an add-on. If you've got a StoreFeeder account, you've got access to the Temu integration. Speak to your account manager for the sign-up link if you need. There is one for StoreFeeder customers, I believe, a specific one. So drop us a message and we can get you sorted with that. And then obviously we've got the support team here will be able to help you get set up. If you've got any questions or have any issues with it, or we can help you with that. So Q&A time. Has anyone got any questions? I can see there are a few in the chat. So we're DIY garden tools and trying to integrate with Temu, catalog of 6 advanced products. Proven to be a blocker. Do Temu have the ability to share their system's recommended base price with us before we list a product so we can see if it's viable?
It's a good question. It's a good suggestion. We don't have that capability at the moment. What I can do is go back and have a look to see if that's something that we are able to do. But one of the things I would recommend to do, obviously, I'm assuming, Patrick, you have an account manager. If not, feel free to drop a message to myself or Jack, and you can introduce to me. So just to make sure we can look into that more specifically about your products. Just because your product has a low or restricted traffic product doesn't mean it's not searchable, just more restricted, and it still appears in your storefront as well. And there's tricks, not tricks, there's suggestions we can do that if you've got low traffic and you can't beat the suggested base price, what we can do is we can either repeat it because it's the wrong price because they're comparing it, we actually think it's the wrong product. Or the other part we could do is you could list like a whole new bundle. Like let's say you've got the DeWalt drill, you could do the DeWalt drill with some drill heads. Then it's kind of creating a unique product because you don't need to have uploaded GTIN or an EAN on Temu. So you can create new unique bundles, which will mean then that's not going to be like price compared against another product that you might not be actually as competitive with. So sure, we don't have that ability to do that. I will go back and check, but there are ways, work with your account manager, there are ways to help get those products live though. And we can help prioritize. We can let you know which products to focus on. If we've got 60,000 products, we can do an analysis of those and identify which ones to upload first of all.
Brilliant, thank you. That's I hope you answered that one. I don't know if we've got any other questions at all to go through. I mean, if there are, I'm sure if you're, like we were saying, interested in selling on Temu, you can reach out to them to answer sort of other questions you've got or any sort of queries you've got about it. I'm sure that's not a problem, is it? So that's all good. So if there's any other ones that come in, I think, let's just check the Q&A section. No, there's nothing in there. So, yeah, thank you. That's run through my part, and thank you to Alan for his talk at the start, and thanks for George for joining. That was great. The next webinar, we'll probably be having one next month, so look out for your invite for that. I'll get a topic sorted and get that announced. If you've got any questions, get in touch with the support team at support@storefeeder.com or raise a ticket directly in the support system. Thank you for your time. Yeah, I hope you found it useful and enjoyed it, and have a great rest of the day.